All right, folks, welcome in the ring to each and every one of you, wherever you're joining our broadcast. We apologize for listeners this evening. Yep, Happy, happy to be here with each and every one of you. Wherever you're joining us from, folks, share the live for us. It's pace and power. Share the broadcast. Wherever you're joining us from, it's a privilege for us to be with you this Friday night. We couldn't have the weekend and we didn't come on and say hello to you. Beautiful, fantastic, wonderful folks. Good to see each and every one of you as we see all the time. Where you're joining us from, we are super happy to have all of you. Share the live. We'll be on for a couple of seconds. I give you some information, folks, and then we out of your here so that you guys can go ahead and have a fantastic day. Share the broadcast for us. We want you guys to be brought up to speed with a couple of things. As I said, and after that, we're out of your here. The weekend is all yours. You guys can luxuriate with your families, as you should, But good to have all of you here, wherever you all are joining us from tonight. Pace and power, boots on the ground. Y'all don't back down from nothing. Please and thank you. Don't back down from a goddamn thing. How y'all doing? Do let us know, folks. Do let us know how y'all are doing. Wherever you all are joining us from tonight, do let us know. Good to have all of you on the live. I'm in good today. Good. It's minding people business and put myself in problems. It's minding the people business and putting my own self in problem. You ever went good? Hmm? You ever wake up good, and then you go minding people business and then you in trouble? Hmm? You ever wake up good? That's how it happens sometimes, folks. Wherever you're joining us from, do us the biggest favor ever. Share the broadcast. It only works well if you share the live, if you smash that emoji button, folks, and you come on down the road with us. Pace and power. Happy to see all of you folks on with us tonight. For the many places you all are joining us from. And as we come on, thoughts and prayers with the students up there in Region 6 who we learned had an accident under quarantine. My God, it's never an easy day. Never an easy day. Our thoughts and our prayers. We saw a bus in very bad shape under quarantine, and we got to slow down. If you got kids and speeding, I'm not saying the drive in particular was speeding. You're using the roadways, and all you know is need for speed. You got your reward already. You better believe it. You got your reward already. Now we want to say thoughts and prayers with those folks who caught up in that horrific accident that we saw. Didn't see any notice of fatalities. Right? Didn't see any notification for fatality. So let us count our blessing. But this is Region 6 we're talking about here. And we told that the students were rushed to the number 72 hospital with injuries. Right? The bus was transporting students from the Interschools Athletics Championship, and it reportedly toppled at the number 63 village. That is the information that we have, that this bus toppled at the number 63 village. Folks, we got to be careful out there. I'll continue to say it. We got to be careful. We transporting kids especially. We got to be extra careful. Again, I'm not saying that was the case in this instance here. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying we got to be careful on the roadways out there. Please and thank you. We got a couple of things we're going to shoot at you, and then we're out of your hairs. A couple of things. And as you can tell, I'm dotting the I's at this end and crossing the T's. You all know how. But good to see each and every one of you on the live tonight. Wherever you all are joining us from, we are super happy to have each and every one of you with us. And as you know, there's a cabinet outreach in Region 6, and among some other things that are happening is this cabinet outreach. And this is nothing new, nothing new under the sun. I'll be the first to tell you that. Nothing at all. Don't get excited. Nothing new under the sun. Maybe we should start there. Cabinet outreach in Region 6. My God. My God. I was with MP Ganesh, my Paul, earlier in the day, and the MP says, look, don't even bother with that. It's copycats. Don't even bother with that. Copycats. Take a look and take a listen some about the MP Ganesh Mahipal, shadow for the Ministry of Local Government. Some of what he said in the press conference at the PNCR today. Take a listen.
And Sherrod speaks to nothing that they're doing, nothing that the government is doing is new. And he made mention to that. I remember during the 2015 to 2020 period, the government Meet the People is an APNU AFC initiative. It was Joseph Harman who pioneered that initiative. And we used to have government Meet the People in all the regions across this country. We had in Region 9, we had in Region 10, we had in Region 6, we had in Region 5, right here in Region 4. I remember all the ministries and their important staff that speaks to, that deals with the public. They were assembled at Square of the Revolution there under those big tents, and people, the public, used to come and they can speak to whether it's GWI issues, GPL issues, and whichever other issues they have, NIS issues and the likes, and everything was being addressed. We had in Region 3, we had in Region 2, we had in Region 10. All the ministers, they had public days when the public can go and reach them outside of that. So what even this that you see Irfan doing now in Region 6 is not something new. It's something that they have seen the AP and UAFC did, and now they're doing the same. And I remember in 2015, 2016, when I was at Region 3, Essequibo Islands, West Demerara, and the policy of the AP and UAFC at the time was to not exclude anyone. Even the regional chairman who was PPP, Julius Faber, and the vice chairman who was Inshan Ayub, the REO was given clear instructions by the Minister of Communities at the time, Ronald Bulkan, to involve them in the planning, the preparation, the execution, because the interest of promoting social cohesion was genuine and real, and we wanted a unified Guyana. And they said to us that they received political instructions not to participate in anything the APNU AFC is executing. So the PPP has always been hypocritical to this country. They've always not been genuine, and they don't genuinely want betterment for the people of Guyana. They're all about themselves. They're all about filling their pockets, and they're all about getting rich and using taxpayers' money to do so in a partisan way to benefit themselves, their friends, and their families and favorites.
Yeah, endorse. It's nothing new. It's copycats. Good folks. How y'all doing? Latchman and Desmond and Terrence and Thomasina. How y'all? It's copycats. Just like that. It's copycats. I was happy to have been a part of some of those outreaches. And my God, did the people come out? They were fascinating, but this was bringing government to the people. Bringing government to the people. We not just hold up, any one place. We not just hold up any one place. Bringing government to the people. Now, I see, people might be able to copy your stuff, right? People might be able to copy your stuff, but they can't copy everything. They just can't. They can't work the thing the way that you might work it, the way that you might do it. And that's some of what we saw today, because their earphone was, he carried his attorney general, and like the attorney general wasn't having it because
It
we
includes
felt like
two
the
high-level
man was falling
sluices
to sleep.
at this
You know,
location and
we
an
saw the man was falling
additional
to sleep. We
pump
prolonged the
station
volume
and
there.
sluice
And
will
it,
be
at the back could
installed at 45.6
hardly keep
range
his
with a contracted
hardly keep
cost
his eyes
and
open.
investment of more than $7 billion to date.
Here is here from waxing,
The construction of 18 kilometers
waxing,
access road, the
and
development
poor
of
AG,
agricultural lands at Mollison, Jackson,
poor AG.
region number 6,
AG struggling.
The construction of
AG
pump
is
station at
struggled.
Blackbush Polar to irrigate
Give me a
Blackbush Polar
second. He can
frontlands
be
and
out
East
cold.
Berbice Quarantine,
He can be out.
and
He
the
can be out
operation
cold.
and maintenance of
I can
GNI
hear AG
systems
saying, "I'm watching for the
across the region.
Venezuelans." And David, yeah.
We're also going to continue with the maintenance
Right.
of
And
all of the
David, yeah.
system to ensure that we
You gotta
don't
be careful
regress
watching your back.
on the gains
The
that we've
man watching
already
your back can't
made.
sleep. Who shared the damn light tonight?
The beautification
Y'all see
of
where has to come on? Give me a second. He can be out cold. He's
the
a sleeper.
modernization of existing parks,
And the AG
and
earns a salary
Lonsdale,
higher than the Prime
Corriverton,
Minister, you know.
Lonsdale,
The AG earns a salary higher
Wallace,
than the Prime Minister.
with
It's
improved
Jaglio
drainage,
first,
lighting,
then
landscaping,
Irfan got the second highest salary, then
and public
AG.
amenities,
Right?
the completion of
Count him out.
major
He's
and
gone.
unique projects
He's
along
gone.
the South
Almost
Big
there.
Village,
He's
the
gone.
creation of a
One,
network of new
two.
community parks, establishing a chain of 25 new community parks
One,
across
two.
Region 6
He's
over
gone.
the
He's out of
medium
here.
term,
Lights out.
beautification through flower gardens and
Big
green
salary, you know.
spaces,
You see, they got the
convert open
stamina.
spaces across the region into flowering gardens
Watch.
and
Irfan going
landscaping
on, you
public
know.
spaces,
Going on. My
modern
God. Put the man sleep.
multipurpose
Lullaby.
recreational center,
Twinkle,
Palmyra,
twinkle, little
standardized park
star.
designs with walkway, fences, places, benches,
He's gone now.
sidewalk
He's
blocks,
gone.
vending units,
1, 2, 3.
waterfront
Somebody touch him for
development
me.
in Corriverton,
Touch him for us. Bring him
Lonsdale,
back. He's gone.
the
He's
establishment
gone.
of a regional
You
parks
see,
maintenance
live. Y'all like do
system,
live now?
the
Do
creation
live.
of a regional
Let's do
parks
live.
maintenance committee, the implementation of a
He's
coordinated
gone.
maintenance
He's
plan
gone.
across RDCs and NDCs,
You can earn bigger salary than
the
them. I want you
promotion
to know
of
that.
climate resilient green development, introduce green
I want you to know
climate
that.
resilient recreational
You
design,
can't earn more. You can't earn more salary than those kind gentlemen. I would have you know that. You better go come again. Oh, a very good evening. If you're just joining us, you're late. Much. You must come early. This late thing with some of you. You know? Late. How y'all doing, folks? It's the weekend. Cameron went to Region 6. You know? A lot of people sleeping. Some folks can't call words. You all know how it is. Right. You all know how it is. Well, I hear them people throwing some big stones. They got a guy who was a manager at GECOM. Y'all only play some economy. He doesn't have any people just leaving by the droves, by the thousands. You know, so he followed. If I talk to the big stage, he can't help himself, you know. Jack must be so disappointed in him. You have to show discipline, Irfan. Discipline. The amount of airtime they give and win, you think they're working together. The amount of airtime that Irfan Ali deliberately gives to win, you might be surprised. You know? Because why? You know why? Irfan have the discipline. You know? He ain't got the discipline. Hear him talking here, but the thing falling apart because of them. He blaming Pandey now. It's not new anymore. It's Pandey syndrome. And discipline, fella.
the Pandey syndrome in GECOM must be removed. And the Pandey syndrome is mismanagement and poor management disguised under class and fanciful language. The Pandey mismanagement syndrome will be eradicated from this industry. The National Drainage and Irrigation Agency must be commended for the work that they have done in this region. And I want to applaud the work. However, there is still a lot of work to be done. The completion of the Hope Light canals will develop drainage and irrigation services for additional 15,000 acres. farmlands between Manarabisi will be severely improved. Additionally, the Hope Light Canal will provide flood protection for 55,000 acres of farming and residential use.
Welcome back, folks. Yep. That was earphone for you. Avoid avoid the Panday syndrome. Please and thank you. Avoid it. You have to get a certain level of discipline, earphone. Please and thank you. That is what is needed. Discipline. But as you heard, Gandhi said, nothing new. Nothing new here. They could copy. Oh my God. They could copy. You see? Copy. The copycats. But we're watching this. Among other things we're watching, folks. It's so much that's happening. I did see that the APNU had a press conference today, and I'm going to circle to that in a second. But folks, there's a lot happening, and even though we're going to have a truncated show tonight because we were distracted and then we had some challenges connecting, the camera is giving us hell tonight, to be honest. It's like somebody orbit, just not connecting. But I want to tell you, part of the challenge that we've been talking about is the government functioning efficiently, effectively, and in a democratic way. One of the challenges we've had in the last 4 or 5 years is access to information. This government hogs information and misuses information too. The cash grant story, for instance, is just one. And now we got a group of people who is taking this issue of access to information, right? And how the act is not functioning as the Access to Information Act is supposed to be functioning. And I see that we have a number of persons in attorney at law, Christopher Ram, and the Nuta, Ratsik and Van der Ratsik, and some other folks are taking the government into the Inter-American Commission on Human Rights. Yeah, raising this issue at that level. Sadly, unless you got a bigger stick than the government, they don't listen. They don't listen, right? And here they are before the this IACHR arguing that, look, transparency is the lifeblood of democracy, right? And the Guyana government, they represent even 10, right? But more than that, they have failed to operationalize the law, despite promises by President Irfan Ali. Folks, if you join us tonight and you support the PPP, hold them to a higher standard. Hold them to a higher standard. See past us on this side as just rabble-rousers. Ask yourself the question, might they be right? Are they right? Are they right? So you have that law that's not functioning. You got the Data Act. I'm trying to remember the correct name of it. It's not functioning. You got the Petroleum Commission. Why is it? All of these things are there for oversight and for checks and balances, and half of them, 3/4 of them, not functioning. Why is that? You're a lover of the PPP. Why is that? Why is that? Something is wrong with that. Something is wrong with that. I charge. Right. Something is wrong with that. Something is wrong with that. Touching one other thing, and then I'm going to circle quickly to one of the other issues that we're covering. And they tell you about the outreach. I heard a lot of folks blowing hot air, how contractors are going to be blacklisted if they're not operating at a certain level. And of course, we saw this movie before. We saw this movie before. How many 530s meeting you got in one government? How many 530 meetings? You see, the problem is you got too many power centers in one government. That is the challenge they're having here. Too many power centers in one government. But you know what they're trying to distract from? you, you know what they're trying to distract from? Hmm? But y'all can't distract me. That's why y'all know. They can't distract us. You know what they're trying to distract from? They're trying to distract from the EU report. That's what's happening. That is what they want to distract us from. The EU report. Folks, Van Hoffen, he puff yesterday. He couldn't blow away the report. He could not. He could not. Today, officially, the PNCR, the Partnership for National Unity, embraced and welcomed this report. Yeah, very substantive report. If you want a copy, a PDF copy, I'd be only too willing to send it to you. Hit us up on our phone number. Y'all know it by heart, right? Know it by heart. Here's some of what I've said in presenting Abdul's case and accepting this report during the press conference today. Take a look. Any government that uses taxpayers' resources to gaslight its citizens is not governing. It is engaged in state-sponsored psychological manipulation for self-serving political purposes. This kind of campaign creates a playing field that favors the PPPC and is harmful to the struggle for free, fair, and credible elections. Guyana cannot build trust or national unity when state institutions are weaponized against its citizens for partisan gain. The EU confirms that Guyana Campaign Finance Network is outdated, ineffective, and not enforced. The absence of transparency rules, realistic spending limits, oversight functions, and regulation of digital campaigning has created an unbalanced and opaque financial environment where the PPC outspends the opposition by using state resources. Added to this is the fact that the system facilitates the bribery of citizens. This phenomenon risks entrenching financial oligarchs and stifling the will of the people. APNU, as such, endorses the EU call for the creation of an independent campaign finance oversight body. This institution should be established with the involvement and agreement of all stakeholders. Government must, without delay, modernize campaign finance legislation within this framework. This oversight body must not be another organization for the PPC to pack with its activists and thereby thwart the true intention of its creation. The EU report that up to 98% of election-related campaign coverage on state media favor the ruling PPPC. Independent journalists faced restrictions, reprisals, and limited access to state information. These findings confirm what APNU's own understanding that the national communication environment favors the government and excludes the opposition. APNU therefore supports the EU's recommendation to establish equitable media access rules, including independent oversight through a reformed GNBA. When the state media provides 98% positive coverage for the PPPC, it amounts to Goebbelian-level propaganda, that kind of onslaught we saw firsthand in the last election. This is not public service broadcasting. This is harmful political propaganda that is funded by taxpayers. The EU's final report makes clear that Guyana's elections are not credible, not because of isolated incidents, but because of systemic failures across multiple state institutions and the wider legal architecture. The election system needs a complete overhaul. And then the report did say quite a few things as well about GECOM. And it has reinforced what we have said before, that we have no confidence in the chairwoman of GECOM, and it was Ganesh Mahi Paul who led the charge on this one. Take a look.
We have no confidence in GECOM. None. As long as Claudette Singh stays there, we cannot have any confidence in GECOM because she has displayed time and again what she is about. And knowing that she has basically dismantled GECOM, by way of not calling for meetings, and as she claimed, waiting on the leader of the opposition to make nominations, I don't know that is within her purview. If the matter requires legal review, let it go to the competent authority, which is the judiciary, to conduct such a legal review. But if she's going to question the appointment of the 3 opposition commissioners, then it requires her to question her own appointment. And it speaks to the quorum and constitutionality. If you are going to disregard those 3, then the 4 that remains cannot be constitutional. Because to have a meeting, you require government and opposition to be present. And if you have disregarded, Claudette, that is, disregarded the 3 opposition, then it means that you should be disregarded too. And I wonder if she's still collecting the $2-point-something million a month, given that she refuses to accept that the commission is supposed to still be functioning. And in the absence of the commission, you have to wonder, what is it that Vishnu and his other colleagues are doing at the secretariat? And is it really value for money? What work are they doing? Who are they getting instructions from? Which board or commission is supervising what they're doing? Is it a waste of resource now? GECOM is currently an agency of the state that is not functioning within the functions it is supposed to be carrying out for the state. And we don't have any confidence in GECOM. We do believe that Claudette needs to pack up, go home and take a rest. We do believe she has tarnished her reputation and that of the country enough, and it's time for her to go. And we cannot have any confidence in GECOM. We will continue to advocate, push, and ensure that we represent this country, the 12 that you made reference to, for the interest of, within the legal parameters, of course, to ensure that we advance a case of having a reform at GECOM.
Yeah, that was MP Ganesh Mahipal laying out the case again. No confidence in the chairwoman of GECOM. Some of the things that the report has said about GECOM, and they're not in any haste to rectify. Same way 5 years ago, they weren't in any haste to rectify. Now, here is Ganesh again, but first, preceded by Dr. Dexter Todd, who joined us on this press today as well. And Dr. Todd is talking about some of what is happening on the ground. And then Ganesh joins in by saying, some of what's happening also when we meet with members of the diplomatic community, some of the work that is happening on this one, folks. We're not wasting time. We're firing and we're upping the ante. I think we're on 2 cylinders right now, or 3, but we got to get up, we got to get up to speed. Please and thank you. Take a look.
Adds as a form of collaboration. And I can say in our community engagement, which we have, as you would recognize, we are very active in that. The issues surrounding elections, what has been happening in terms of all the irregularities, those things are coming up. And we are able to engage our people of this country on a one-on-one basis. So I can tell you, they are being edified as to what is happening too. So when there is a need and a call for action, for the action in relation to this, I can tell you our people will be mobilized.
Every meeting that we have had with ambassadors and the diplomatic community, all the foreign dignitaries we normally would showcase on our social media Facebook platform, and people wondered what is it that we discussed. We discussed with them, among several other issues, the importance of them not coming a week before elections. We discussed with them that elections in Guyana is a process. We said to them that the date of election is just a part of the entire electoral process. So this report, we saw it so well documented and detailed, and it shows evidence that they themselves experience, and that's because they have been here longer than a week. Previous elections, we know of observer missions coming in a week or 2 before the elections, and then they would deploy their various staff to various areas. They would say it's a smooth process. they would say that it was fair and what's not. But because the EU mission was here, I think, for well over a month or more, they were able to see, they were able to document, they were able to observe. So we consider this as a win for the APNU in the sense that we begged, we pleaded for them to not treat election as a one-day event or a one-week event, but it requires observation. I personally would glad, and I know the APNU would also, if they can be in this country for the entire period, the 5 years period before we get to the next elections. There they will see and observe in Parliament the amendments that are being made to legislations. They will see how it can impact elections, like what happened with the birth certificate law that was amended that allowed for people to easily get a birth certificate and led to registration to be a part of the National Registrar of Registrants, which saw the extraction of their names to be on the electoral list. They were able to see for themselves that Commonwealth people are in this country working, not necessarily with the purpose of being domiciled in Guyana, as opposed to having their children, their family going to school, spending life like if they want to be a Guyanese in that after that 1 year period. There are people who are here actually working and taking their money and sending it back to their country to support their family. It happens to be longer than a 1 year period, which the PPP has abused to get them registered. We saw a bus coming with a set of, I think it was Bangladeshis, to get them to vote because they had the ID cards and so on. So I think all of these things the EU was able to observe because of their duration of stay. And we welcome that. What we want now is for us to move in the direction of fixing the system. And the government has an opportunity to display maturity. They have an opportunity to display that they genuinely want a real democracy and they genuinely want a one man, one vote case as opposed to this bloated list. And this, in a nutshell, I think the EU said to us in very nice language that the elections was not free and fair. They said it was not free and fair.
Yep. Said what they said. They said what they said, folks. They said what they said. I know they wouldn't like it, but it is what it is. The folks said what they said, and it is what it is. We saw also the Canadian High Commission has also come out urging electoral reforms. Saw him reshared a photo of the same report, right, and saying that we have to embrace electoral reforms. Now, I don't know if Ali's gonna have a life for him, like they had a life for the EU folks. I just do not know. I just do not know. But before you folks head off this evening, we don't want to hold you back longer than is necessary. We're seeing some strange things, and as you head into the weekend, those of you who people of faith, you better pray for this country. We saw this young woman that you see here, this young lady's body turned up at a foreshore. I think this is on the west side, and it is very, very strange because it's not an isolated incident, and I'll show you what is happening here. Looks like we need some help. She was found at Anakatrana Seawalls, that's what they tell us. 32-year-old Chandini Savi Prasad had gone missing a day or two and then found dead on the as they said here, the foreshore there at Anakatrana. But what is even more distressing to me is that did you see yesterday they're pulling the body of a baby from a trench? Did you see that? Did you? In addition to that, today they're telling us at a place called Golden Fleece, on the foreshore at Golden Fleece, they found the body of a 12-year-old, Samish Singh. He had gone missing for about 24 hours too. It is on the Essequibo coast at a place called Golden Fleece. And he was found face down near the Golden Fleece coca. He had gone missing the day before. The police are investigating. They said there were no marks of violence, injuries, and they believe that he may have drowned. A 12-year-old, a baby yesterday, a 12-year-old today. And that's why I said, people of faith, please, over the weekend, please. And the madness continues on the roads as well. They're telling us you have about, since November 20th, right? Let me see where it is. Recently, I think it's over the last week or so, about 15,000 speeding tickets. That's contributing to the foolishness. About 15,000 speeding tickets. And take a look at this. This is that bus I wanted to show you earlier. This is that bus that toppled tonight in Region 6. We're talking about speeding. This is that bus that toppled in Region 6 at number 63 Village and the Quarantine. And as we said, it was bringing kids, transporting students home from the inter-school athletic championship in Region 6. No reports of fatality, but they're telling us that the students were taken to the number 75 regional hospital for medical attention. And I'm seeing photos here with blood on the road and all of that. So those kids, no doubt, gonna be traumatized. You see what I'm telling you? So you go to your places of worship over the weekend. Remember this country. Please and thank you. You go to your places of worship. I was looking for some parking today, and I don't know. You gotta be careful when you're out there. I feel like I wander in the wrong place. I went looking for parking in the city. You know where you go looking for parking these days? You gotta be strapped. You gotta be strapped. I don't know if I wandered in the wrong place or what. Right? But I see some guys looking menacingly at each other. I said, I open the door and it's tobacco. I don't know what I walked in on there. I like these guys. G-Man and Robert and crew. That's my problem. That's my one problem in life. And it's giving me a problem with my wife all the time. I like everybody. I like the Spanish. It's giving me problems. I like G-Man. I like Robert. I like everybody. I was looking for parking. I was looking for parking. Wilma says, beware. Beware. I was just looking for parking. That's all. Ain't trying to cause no problem with nobody, you see. I was just looking for parking. You see. Let's be careful out there. Wandering to the wrong room. We end up in some problems, End up in some problems. Folks, have a great weekend. Have a fantastic weekend. And we're going to see you guys back next week. Share the like before you go. Smash that emoji. But with all the technical troubles we had tonight, we had to come on. We've been on here a couple minutes with you folks. Have a fantastic weekend. Thanks for being with us all week long. And each and every one of you who joined our broadcast tonight, Denise and Jackie Lane and Deborah Clark and Gail and Wilma Grant and Ingrid. You all know as you get old, sometimes you ever end up in some place you even know you end up there. You ever got home in your own vehicle and it's like, it's all me. Sometimes you gone 6-7 corners, blocks if you're in the US. And you even know how you meet. It's a far meet. Sometimes you're just driving on automation. You're auto driving. I just wander in this place. I say, I know these folks. Take autograph or two. I know these folks. I take autograph or two. Some of y'all like Bacchanal. Some of y'all like Bacchanal. My problem. I like everybody. Folks, have a fantastic weekend. I've learned not to take life too seriously, not to take myself too seriously. And I can have a light moment every now and again. Have a light moment. Have a fantastic weekend, folks. Roderick and Michelle and Cheryl, Marlon. Y'all are here. I said nothing, right? Y'all are here. I said not. I want to end up in a story. I go off into the weekend very quietly. Guys, have a fantastic weekend and stay safe.